Today we are talking about working with project revisions within D-Tools. There is a way to keep track of all of your changes.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
And you're also able to run reports on those changes. So let's get started. Let's go to projects. So within the Project Explorer, you are able to view your revisions in the grid here. So I've got a project here with 4 revisions. And to take a look at the actual revisions, these are down here on the Revisions tab. All right, so you get to change the name to whatever you want. You're able to add notes. Here are the revision numbers. The original project is always going to be 0. Here you can see the total price and see the changes and the dates that these were created. So on the Revisions tab, you can create, open, promote, and we'll talk about this. You can clone as a project, compare, edit your notes, delete, rename, and export to Excel. All right, so in order to create a revision, since this makes a change to the actual project, it has to be checked out to you. So right now, I am unable to create a revision. You can also get to that menu from here. It's grayed out, of course. So let me go ahead and check out the project. Once it's checked out to me, all of the menu items are activated. All right. So actually, with this revisions example, let me work with a fresh project that does not have revisions. So let's do Chow Moon Cantina. Check it out. Create. All right, so you are allowed to, like I said, give it any name you want to give it. However, in the list, it's always going to be Rev 0. So even if I change, delete this, it's going to show as Rev number 0. So, all right, so we can do a note. We're going to say as sold. Click OK. And then you'll see my notes, the original project here, revision 0, total price, and the created date. So let's go ahead and make our changes. All right, so also, let me move that over. You'll see that this current project is now Rev 1. All right, so as you continue making your revisions, the current project that shows in the Project Explorer is going to be the highest Rev number. All right, so the purpose of the revisions and then running your change order reports, of course, is to see the changes and your pricing and items in a project. So we're able to track items that were added to a project, items that were removed from a project, and items that were changed. And you'll notice that they're color-coded, and we'll show you in the Compare Revisions screen later. All right, so we're going to do some changes. So for instance, I'm going to, first let me do a collapse all, see what I'm working with here. All right, so these are our items for the project, quite a few. We have 705 items. It's going to be pretty large, but that's fine. All right, so let's say for these active thermal management items, the price has increased. So let's take a look at what we're selling these for now. All right, so their unit price $330. So let's say they went up to $400 now. So to get all of these updated to $400, let's go ahead and do a mass update on the Tools tab. Unit price, $400. And let's do similar items. Basically what that does is grab any other models of this particular product and update those as well. Let's save. Total of 8 products were updated. All right, so let's take a look. Now our price is $400. We'll be able to track that. So let's say some of these items your customer wants to remove. So let's say, for instance, these Samsung LED devices, TVs, we want to take out and say, oh, okay, they don't want these anymore. We can go ahead and remove these. All right, deleting these 6 products. All right. So we've removed some items here. We've changed some items. So let's go ahead and add some items. Let's say that instead of the Samsung items, we want to put a different display device. So let's see. That's what we have in our catalog here. So we're going to do a generic device here. So let's do a quantity of 5 of these that we want to add. All right. So now we've got our 5 LED TVs, 50-inch. Okay. So we've done 3 major changes here. We have removed items, we've changed items, and we've added items. So let's go ahead and save our changes. I'll just close out of it. It's going to prompt me. Yes, I want to save it. I don't want to check it in for now. Okay. So now I've got a difference in pricing. So our original project was $320,000. And now our current project is $304,000. So let's go ahead and do a compare. All right, so you can compare 2 revisions at a time. You can have as many revisions as you want. As far as I know, there's no limit in your number of revisions. Now, the adjusted items, adjusted items are the ones that were changed. You can compare price, or you can compare price and cost. I didn't make any changes to cost, so I'm not going to do that one. By default, it's selected on compare price. All right, let's go ahead and compare. All right, so this is the project compare editor. It allows you right off the bat to see what items were removed, what items were changed, and what items were added. So right off, you can see in red are items that were removed. And I've done some other changes here, some additions, and I've done some changes in pricing. Okay, so up here, let me go over the menu. Oh, I've got my snag it here. So in the menu, we can apply our changes to the project. Anything we do in this compare editor, we can apply to the project. Your view, you can view items and miscellaneous items. They're separated just like they are in the project. You get to add items here. You get to accept and reject items. You can do selected or all. You can change what you're looking at here. We can look at only the items that were added. We can look at only the items that were adjusted or only the items that were removed. We can change what we view as far as the items that have been accepted or rejected once we've done our accepting and rejecting of the items. We can do filtering, just like in a project, and reset the filter, of course, is there. And you can export this information to Excel to view later, okay? You can change your layouts just like in a project. So for instance, instead of my general, I would like to look at the pricing. So it'll show you the pricing here. Everything, of course, in parentheses in red have been removed. It's a negative number, okay? You can also do your custom layouts too here. So I've got one there. All right, so there's also the QuickBooks part of this. You can create an estimate using these changes. You can add to an existing estimate these changes, okay? And of course, you can run reports. You can run any report you want on these items, but today we're going to specifically talk about change order reports. All right, so let's go back to the home page. So for example, if we wanted to accept or reject items, say for instance, you're reviewing these changes and there are certain items that you want to keep in the project, you can actually reject the changes. So for instance, instead of all of these items being added, let's do these, you can say, okay, we only wanted to add those two. We can select these items and we can reject those selected items. Okay. All right. All right. Accepting or rejecting will remove these changes from the project once you do apply to project. Okay. All right, so that's pretty much it. So I'm going to leave this like this so we can later look at the current project and see the changes. I'm going to apply those changes to the project. So, but first, let's take a look at the change order report and how it displays. So this is the default change order. I've created some custom ones. Install price will display the labor pricing on the change order. All right, so let me see. Let's run it by location. All right, so pretty much looks like any other project here. And you'll see that the changes will show if there hasn't been a change in pricing. It will not show. Keep in mind that the change order is going to show changes only. Okay, so we've got our removal of items and pricing. It's going to show the totals just as before. All right, so it gives us a grand total of changes in the negative of $16,000. So I'm pretty straightforward with that. And I just want to take a look at my install price one. Do I have any labor in here? Let's see. So basically what it does is the install price one is going to show the complete install price change according to what you've done on the revision. Okay. And this one shows the same total, of course. It's $16,000 in the negative, so pretty straightforward and easy. All right, so now that I've rejected some of these changes here, I am going to go back to the Home tab and apply the project. So the adjustments are going to be made. So I have rejected 3 items. Would you like to apply these changes to the project? You're going to get the confirmation message before you make the change. Although you can go back in and do another accept and reject. But in general, it's always good to have that confirmation message to make sure you want to apply those changes because it goes to the current project. So let's take a look. So as you can see, I did a search for those items. Originally we had 5, now we have 2. All right, 2 of those items. And the reason why it's showing $0, I know you all are asking, is because I don't have any pricing for this item. So once I enter the pricing, then you can see that. I'll just say $4.50. All right. But you get the idea. So now that I've made, another change, you can go back and compare again and see the difference between the two. All right. And so that's pretty much it with the revisions. Let's see what else I can go over today. I'm going to save my changes. I don't want to check it in. Let's see. So what if the current project that the changes you've made, they haven't been approved and you want to go back to the original? You can always promote a revision as a project. Now, there are 2 options. You can promote and make the current project a revision or promote as project only. So if you want to make the current project a revision, that will move this one down here in the revision section. If you want to promote as a project only, it'll just swap them. Okay, so let's just say we want to promote and make the current a revision, and it gives you a confirmation message. The current project will be backed up as a revision. All right, so it allows you to make notes and things just like any other revision. Make a note, click OK. So now it's been added down here. The original has been added up here. But since we made a project, the current project a revision, it did a backup, and that was in our confirmation message. So I would recommend doing it that way so that you have a constant record of the changes that have happened. You can clone as a project. Say, for instance, you want to create a new project based on one of your revisions. You can do that to make it a current project. Of course, we talked about compare. Edit notes, of course, pretty much straightforward. Delete, straightforward, of course. And let's do an export to Excel just so you can see it's pretty simple. It's going to just save a list of your revisions. And there you go. So this comes in handy when you have, if you have, 20 revisions, it might be easier to just look at the list and see what the notes are and the changes and the dates on them, as opposed to down here on the tab, it could, eventually run out of space. So, and you'd have to scroll and all of that. Might be much easier to look at a bunch of revisions this way. So that is revisions and change orders. If there are any questions, you can always contact us through the homepage. There's our documentation and our help videos. Thanks for joining us today.